Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Let's give it up for Will Krolowitz.
Yes, my name is Will Krolowitz, and I come from a very large family. I'm the youngest of 7. And a lot of people say, oh, the baby, you must have been spoiled. No, not in my family. In my family, that means everyone in that house kicked my ass. But you know, big families over the years become smaller. And each year I watched, one by one, my siblings depart this earth. And as of last October, I watched my last sibling. I lost my last sibling. And I gotta tell you, I win. I win! And I gotta tell you, my 2 remaining siblings are not gonna like that joke. I got a couple of ass whoopings coming my way. But it's Veterans Day. I'm happy it's Veterans Day. I met my ex-wife when we were both in the Army. And I was 21, she was 19, and we started dating, and we were having a great time. And then I got promoted. And the first sergeant called me in his office. He called her in the office, and he goes, listen, you guys can't date anymore. That's against Army regulation. He's a non-commissioned officer. That's called fraternization. You guys are gonna have to break up or get married. So we're like, wow. So we talked about it. It's like, how dare they tell us who we can love? Even though we didn't know each other that well, we decided to go ahead and get married. What a great reason to enter into the sacred bonds of holy matrimony, to get the Army off your back. And we did. We got married, and it was crazy because I did not even know her family. We had not met each other's family, and I did not realize that I had married into a Sicilian family from New Jersey. Yeah. I was shocked, because my ex-wife's maiden name was Williams. What the hell kind of Sicilian family has the last name of Williams? The kind that's in the witness protection program. So not only are they mobsters, but they're all a bunch of freaking rats. My ex-wife Victoria and her brothers, Sal and Tony Williams. So Sal took me into a room, and he opened a drawer, and he showed me a sawed-off shotgun, and he said 5 words. He goes, she cries, you bleed. Capiche? And I'm like, yikes. And where's Sal at today? Hey, you won't see him no more, and you won't find out from me, because I'm not a freaking rat. So we split up. We had 2 kids. We split up. She got out of the Army. I took my 2 boys to Germany, and then I got out of Germany, and then I went to Wisconsin, where I raised my sons. They went to middle school, high school, and college, and they got really good jobs. I'm happy. They're grown men now. And my oldest son works for Duke University Laboratories. What does he do for Duke? I don't know, science? Something scientific. My other son, right out of college, got a job with a network news agency in Washington, D.C., where he was awarded an Emmy. What did he get an Emmy for? For lying. Oh yeah, they're all a bunch of liars, come on. He lied so well that CNN came a-calling. They're like, hey man, you're pretty good. Why don't you come over here and lie with us? So he's been at CNN ever since. What does he do for CNN? I don't know, I watch Fox. That's a joke. I don't watch Fox anymore. Too liberal. But I do know that 2 of my grandchildren, their births were announced on national television on the Wolf Blitzer show. Or so I've been told. But I like the way they turned out, man. I mean, they turned out pretty good. I took them out when they were still in college for Father's Day. Or they took me out for Father's Day. We were enjoying a nice meal. A couple comes in. They got a 5 or 6-year-old kid. They sit down at the table next to us. The kid starts banging on the table. The parents say nothing. The kid gets up from the table, starts running around the restaurant. The parents ignore it. One of my sons turns to me and goes, Dad, I want to thank you for not allowing us to behave like that. And when I have kids, I'm not going to let them behave like that either. I hope I can be as good a father to my kids as you were to me. I was touched. I thought I was going to get emotional. So you know what I did? I reached out and I gave him a little smack in the head. I said, get your elbows off the damn table, boy. And then I stuck my foot out and I tripped that little bastard as he ran by. Because it takes a village. And that son, who looks like me, had a daughter who looks like him. My granddaughter looks just like me. She's beautiful. I tell her that all the time. She's beautiful. My son's like, don't tell her she's beautiful. Tell her she's smart. I'm like, yeah, she's not that smart. She's 7. How smart can you be? She's smart for a 7-year-old, but come on. So as soon as the baby was born, my ex-wife called me up. She goes, what do you want the baby to call you? I'm like, I don't know. I haven't given it any thought. Well, my man is Papa. I'm just letting you know. I'm like, well, your man is not her Papa. He's not related to her. Y'all aren't even married. So I'm just telling you, he's Papa. I'm like, well, if he's Papa, then you got to be Mama. That's how it goes. Mama and Papa. Mima and Peepaw. Those are your choices. So anyway, so he gets to be Papa. I have to be Grampy. That's all right. The thing that bothers me is my son lives very close to where my ex-wife lives, and Nana and Papa get to see my grandchildren a lot more than me. I never know there was such a thing as grandpa jealousy, but there is. And my granddad was always talking about Nana and Papa this, Nana and Papa that. Nana and Papa bought me a box of chocolates for Valentine's Day. I said, let me tell you something, little girl, that's not your real Papa. That's just some dude who's shacking up with Nana. Shacking up means living in sin, and that makes Jesus cry, because in the eyes of God, your Nana's a hoe. In heaven, that's called a Hosanna. And your Nana's Hosanna in the highest. So I was like, what does that mean, Grampy? That means that Nana and Papa are going to burn in hell forever and ever. Enjoy your chocolates. Happy Valentine's Day. So my son and his wife had this little girl. They had a little boy. And then they had another little girl right after. 3 kids within 4 years. So my son calls me up. He goes, Dad, I don't want you to talk me out of it, but I'm getting a vasectomy. I'm like, hey, good call. I'm not going to try to talk you out of it. I called him up the day of the vasectomy. And I said, hey, man, how did it go? He goes, it went pretty well. It didn't hurt that bad. I'm celebrating. I took the family out for dinner. I said, well, I just want you to know I'm proud of you and I love you. He said, Dad, I'm going to have to call you back. My kids are banging on the table and running around the restaurant. I said, remember that time you told me you wouldn't allow your kids to bang on the table and run around the restaurant? He goes, nope. I said, me neither. But now that the election's over, I have to say, I'm going to miss Pence. Karen Pence. Hey, she might be the second first lady, but she's the #1 Karen. She's not that bad looking. It's like you're just standing next to Melania and Ivanka. Move to the other side. Stand next to Tiffany and Eric, Karen. That's it. That's it for me. Thank you very much. You guys are good. Thank you.